call the schools. If you want to go to a school, call them. Email them. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I have. This is what I know. Someone can help you. I know you're thinking that we're like a bill collector when you call us. We're not those type of people. If I have a student with no AP courses, all A's, then I have a student with all AP courses, B's, I would like the student with the B's because I can see that you're challenging yourself. We are definitely willing to help students that want to help themselves. It's doable.
Welcome to From Classroom to Campus, the podcast that celebrates the incredible work happening in education and the powerful ways educators are shaping lives, inspiring growth, and preparing students for the future. This is straight from the source, SMU college admission tips you can't Google. I'm your host, Philip Bates. Joining us today, as always, is the very wonderful Megan Blessing. Hello, Megan.
Hi, Philip.
My guest today is pulling back the curtain on one of the most mysterious parts of college readiness, admissions. He's here to offer the behind-the-scenes insight to what it really takes to get into a great college, from the wow factors that make a student shine to the common pitfalls every teacher should help their students avoid. We've got the kind of tips you just can't Google. We're about to get an insider's perspective straight from the SMU's admissions office. Welcome to the show, Mr. Dante Branch.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That's a great welcome, by the way.
Yeah, like that intro?
Yes, I do. I really appreciate it. Now, I don't know if I would get into like tips and tricks, but I would be very transparent conversation. We can say that.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Well, we like to get to know our guests pretty quickly, so we do some hook, line, and thinker questions.
Let's do it.
Hook, line, and thinker question number one. What is a song or artist that always gets you through a busy admissions season?
Oh, this is great. So the admission season is definitely, you need some good tunes throughout that. So for me, I'm a hip hop fan. So number one might be some Jay-Z in there. You got to get it going, get that like hustler mentality going. Like it's going to be a lot of work. I got to do it. But last year, let's just go to last admission. It was a lot of Kendrick Lamar, obviously because of all of the things Kendrick Lamar, but I just love how he views the world to keep me grounded and let me know there is a bigger picture outside of myself. So a lot of Kendrick Lamar, and then I always have to have some Nipsey Hussle in there. That's like my go-to.
Okay. All right. Now, do you blast these students loud in the office, or how does that work?
See, unfortunately, our office, I can kind of like how we heard that banging. I can kind of hear those things. So I don't blast it loud in the office, but I do have headphones.
Gotcha.
So I will put it, and then that will blast. And I keep one open so I can hear it outside.
Sure.
But definitely the music is loud in my head.
Excellent. All right. What is one SMU tradition you secretly love or not so secretly love?
Okay, this is great. So my favorite tradition, I'm simple. I'm a huge football fan, so that's the Boulevard.
Nice.
Really just a tailgate. But a tradition that I really want to experience, but I just haven't had the time because it's a multifaceted tradition. It is our Rotunda Passage.
Yeah.
And I love that for our students, like the day before classes start, they walk through our Dallas Hall, they walk around this gold seal. It's like a welcome to college type of ceremony. And then the day before they graduate, they walk back through that same building, but they get to walk over the seal, come out. And I think it's a full circle moment. I think those students can learn so much from themselves. Like I remember doing this as a freshman, and now I'm an adult in a sense, or I have a job. It's just that 4 or 5 years go by so fast. So I love that. I love that tradition.
SMU football. It's back, man.
It's that time. And I'm a huge football fan, and I think we're 4 weeks away from the opening kickoff. No one is keeping count, but I think we're about 4 weeks away.
That's awesome. Tell me about there's like a little mini Mustang.
Peruna.
Okay. What is this? Tell us about
So
this.
that is the mascot. The mascot is Peruna. It is a pony in a sense, and we do the pony up. It's our hand sign. It is just a mascot.
But it's like a short, tiny, little cute pony.
So I don't think that's intentional. I think sometimes the person in the mascot outfit is maybe a short, tiny person.
I was thinking it was like a real short.
No. So we do have different mascots, but I think the person wearing the actual costume fluctuates the height.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So sometimes I know for a fact that I am very fun, and I know this person personally she's a very small person, and she's actually one of our mascots. So
she probably has a good time doing it.
She's probably the one you see the shorter version for sure.
Awesome. All right. If you had to give a TED Talk on something that wasn't admissions related, what would your TED Talk be over?
For me, I think if I had to do something like that, it would be more of the power of being the first. So for me, growing up, I was the first generation student, the first one to go to college, the first one to do so many things. And as I navigate my journey, I've realized that I've done a lot of things wrong in terms of like the interpersonal relationships. So I have friends that say I was not the nicest person, or I done things that like, this does not showcase who you are as a person. But navigating life as a first generation anything, I think makes life a little harder because you don't have a dad that can say, hey, when I went to college, I did this.
Sure.
So when I go, it's like I'm freestyling. Everything I'm doing is, I don't have a mentor in a sense. I don't have no one to kind of guide me. So I got to mess up. The only way you can learn is through mistakes. I don't have I don't have the luxury of having like older people around me that's in my family that went through. I am the trailblazer. So
Absolutely.
I think that'll be a fun TED Talk to talk about the experiences you have just because I come from like the inner city. I'm first generation. Everything I'm doing is very new to my family as well. So not only do I have to approach that in a very new concept, everything is new to me. But then I am critiqued as if I'm with amongst my colleagues, my peers. So these other students may not be in first generation. Their dad could have went to Harvard or they went to Yale and they know these college, or they know professional type of things. So when not only you graduate college first, you're the first one in your family probably get these type of careers. So now I got to learn how to navigate that. So I think that would be a powerful TED Talk. I'm not sure if someone probably already had that idea, but that is something I would love to actually speak about my experiences because it's definitely troubling that you are judged as if you're not a first gen and you get all of these perks and accolades as an incoming freshman. You get these first generation, but once you actually graduate college, there's no more first gen. It's like, all right, you're here with the rest of us.
Love that.
This should be another level of assisting to help guide through
what's your working title?
At work, I am...
I'm sorry, your working title for your TED Talk. Like, what's it going to be? Your title's going to be...
Maybe the power of being the first.
Power of being the first. So when you've done some talks to AVID. We've had an AVID director on, on our show. It seems like a TED Talk you'd want to give to AVID students.
Exactly. I was an AVID student. So
Were you?
So it's a full circle. So I graduated DISD. So I had I was a part of AVID. Now, I'll be completely honest. When I joined, I didn't know what it was first year. But I look back on it and realize if it wasn't for AVID, I would not have went to college. Like in high school, first generation students, you're like, yeah, I'm going to school, I'm going to college, but you really don't know the steps, you don't know what to take. AVID kind of helped us throughout that program. And then I had a phenomenal AVID teacher. She's no longer with us. She helped me out so much. And then last year I did an AVID day at SMU and we brought around like 200 or so students, brought them to a football game, just show them the campus, talk about the admission process and try to... It was some middle school students because I am a strong advocate of those students need to see it earlier. So you need to be able to see what a college look like, smell like, touch. So go to a CAF, and then although we only have you for a day, maybe that'll spark a conversation once you get home to your mom, your counselor, and like, hey, I want to go to college. Then hopefully we gave you that push. That's kind of my role as an admission counselor.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's dive into that. So walk us through, I know every day is different, but walk us through kind of a typical day for the life of an admissions counselor.
Okay, that is fun. So I would use SMU just because that's my office, and I'm pretty sure every office has some type of characteristics, but I'll just focus on our personnel. Average day, you just never know what you get, especially at our campus, because we have some admission counselors. They're very young, they're very excited, and they are very... I don't want to disrespect them because they are my friends.
Well, then they're going to listen to this.
And I love them so much, but they are a younger crowd. So some of them just graduated college or they're getting acclimated into the professional world. So just listen to some of their conversations in the morning time. Just imagine a 25-year-old person coming to work and just those conversations. So that's fun. Then some days you are programming. So like what I'm doing tomorrow for the EIF day when we bring the counselors, some type of programs, application reading. So we read apps. That's the job, right? So we read a lot of apps. Actually, last year SMU had a record number in applications.
Yeah, how many?
I don't know the final number, but I remember I stopped like keeping count when it was like 25,000. At that point, I was like, we have surpassed the goal.
So over 25,000 applications.
The goal was 20, I think, something like that. But we have surpassed it. Once it got to 25, like anything else is like bonus. But I'm pretty sure it's past that. But we did amazing. Another thing, we do presentations every day at work, talking to families, prospective students, parents, phone calls.
In the program you're talking about, you're constantly talking to high school counselors and really folks who are helping high schoolers with admissions to college, I would imagine.
In a sense, especially in my role, I do the community outreach, so almost everything I do is directly affecting the students. That's why I try to make sure the students are getting something from all of my programming. But for the day-to-day, yes, we talk to the counselors that are definitely helping those students, or they could be independent counselors where parents are paying them to counsel their students. So we definitely engage with those counselors and students on a day-to-day basis.
So what would you say are some top qualities that SMU is looking for in students?
Some great top, obviously, highly academic students that are exceptional in the classroom. We actually love academic curiosity as well. A lot of students, we are not expecting you to know what you want to do for the rest of your life at this juncture of your life. You're 18, maybe 17, 16. I met a 13-year-old from Dallas College that's a boy genius that's supposed to come to SMU. So you just never know. But the academic curiosity, I love students that actually hey, I know I want to go to college. I think I like these things, but I'm not really sure. That is so refreshing to me because a lot of students, which is not a bad thing, but some students hey, I'm doing business.
Yeah, they just know.
There's the conversation kind of ends there. So there's no other possibility okay, you love marketing. What if you don't get in? Here's something. They're no, I'm doing this. So the conversation ends, but the students that are hey, I like chemistry, I love cybersecurity, I love data. We love these things. Now we can have fun with those. Another thing we're looking for is students that are very involved, and that can be through their community, through their high school, through all type of avenues. We look for pretty much a well-rounded student. It's not always about academics, although we love a great academic student, but sometimes we need that context. Who are you outside of the classroom? Because what I've learned is some students can be pushed very, very hard by mom and dad in the classroom. But then outside the classroom, what do you like? They're I don't know. I just been focused on my grades. So I love a student to actually dibble and dabble in a lot of things. Those are my favorite students. But SMU, we have all type of students. Very, very smart students, very involved. We're just looking for a full group. We don't want all students to be 4.0s. We need to balance the class out. So I think we look for a little bit of everything in our students.
Excellent. So the admissions landscape has changed, especially with the whole test optional stuff. What have you seen are some of the bigger changes that admissions have kind of experienced the last few years?
So test optional, and I will preface this to say I'm very new to this profession. Not very new. I've been doing higher ed stuff for 7, 8 years, but at SMU I'm very new. But I love the test optional policy, and I love it because it actually provides avenues and pathways for the non-traditional student. Those are the students I work with. I like to call them the unchampioned students, right? The students that have not been championed, those students need an additional support. And test optional allows those students, because I will be completely transparent, a lot of students from the inner cities and those, they don't test well. And it's not because they are not
intelligent
or not intelligent. It's because the school district is focusing on the STARS test. So if all I go to school and learn that test every day, then one day you throw an SAT or ACT in front of me, it's I haven't been preparing for this for the last 4 or 5 years. Typically don't do well. And we all know that to prepare yourself for those SAT or ACT, it costs funding. You need to go to test prep, you need to have a tutor. And most students don't have those luxuries. So test optional just give a opportunity to the student that would not have that opportunity, where you can be a very, very high academic student in terms of GPA.
I like what you said in terms of students not having the opportunity for to get exposed to great SAT prep or ACT prep. And we're in the SAT prep business. I personally love when we work with districts that I don't believe those students are often given those opportunities. And then we kind of help the school with those opportunities and give those students a chance to, if they want to go test optional, or if they want to blow the socks off the ACT, they can do that.
Do you have a workshop for the SAT, ACT?
Well, so we build content that supports basically students preparing for the exams.
Okay, because I got programs, and I can definitely invite you in. And
we'll have to work together on that.
Yeah,
let's
do it.
So I'm also in the AP world, big time, and I'm curious from your perspective, when you're looking at students that have taken a bunch of AP courses, what are your thoughts? Are they more attractive? Why are they more attractive as potential students?
So the luxury we have is we can look at the school's curriculum. So if you are a student with a lot of APs and your school offered a lot of APs, you get the high rigor, but let's say hypothetically a school that does not have a lot of APs and this student only took like 3 or 4, but the school only offers 6. We visualize, we kind of picture it on what you had offered to you at your school. So if you didn't have a lot of AP courses, you're not going
to penalize the student.
Exactly. So we look at how many the school offers, and then we see if you're applying yourself. And then sometimes we'll probably look at the seniors the year before you, so I can see when you was a junior, what the seniors did. So if you had a senior at your high school that took 15 AP courses, and then you only took 4, then I can look at you negatively. But if I see you are applying yourself and doing what others have done before you, that's how we kind of review it.
I'll be honest, I find that traditional test prep can feel like busy work. 1,000 questions here, 1,000 more there, and not much learning in between. UWorld takes a smarter approach. Our prep for the SAT and ACT gives students meaningful practice under time conditions, explains why they miss questions, and builds the skills that lead to real score gains. Educators love UWorld because it bridges assessment and instruction, turning practice into actual learning. Visit collegereadiness.uworld.com and empower your students with practice that teaches. That's great. Is it okay for a student to take an AP course and maybe not get a 3? Just the effort of taking the AP course? Is that better than not taking the AP course?
If it's offered, yes. So the test score does not really directly affect your admission process.
Got it.
Your grades. So if you're taking an AP Cal and you get A's and you happen to get a 2 on an AP test,
it's still helping your GPA.
That's just more so with your academic advisor if you want to like supplement a class or something like that. But in terms of you are applying yourself, I can see if you got all A's, I do not necessarily ever know the test you got for your score because that goes to academic advising. So that's trying to get your classes and waived and things like that. But as long as you're applying yourself. Now, to answer your question, if I have a student with no AP courses, all A's, then I have a student with all AP courses, a few A's, B's, I would like the student with the B's more because I can see that you're challenging yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. What I love that you're talking about, and I think people will appreciate this, it sounds like a student is not just a piece of paper with a bunch of grades on there. It sounds like you guys are doing your due diligence to really find out where that student came from, what's his high school experience like, and make some really good decisions.
So we have to, especially in my role, being the community outreach, I have to look at students outside of numbers sometimes. And I'll give you a good example. So this next fall, a high school that I'll be focusing on, very, very close, and I'm very, very hands-on is Wilburn Hutchins.
In Dallas.
So I don't know if you know this, but the last 2 years they had school shootings. So last year and the year before. So any senior this year went through 2 school shootings. Wow. So if I'm looking at these students' essays or applications and it's like they just not up to par, you got to think contextual. Like, what do these students have to deal with 2 years in a row and still manage to graduate and apply to college? If I can do anything to assist, I will, because I know I never had a school shooting, but for someone to have to deal with that twice in back-to-back years, it has to be something in those applications.
So you're looking for that resiliency to overcome a horrible trauma.
Exactly. So if you have a very high GPA, luckily we're still test optional, so that's not even a big priority. So if you have the grades, you have the application, you put up the effort to actually complete it, show a little demonstrated interest, email me, come see us. And I think me personally, I am going to spend a lot of time trying to find some great students out of Wilburn Hutchins because I think they need it, and I feel that people can just overlook, especially, DISD 1, but now those students have to deal with something. So instead of having a student with all A's, this student may have an A, B, and maybe a C. And it's like, I know what you dealt with. So for you to graduate, you should get some type of acknowledgement or some type of assistance. So I'm going to do my best to help those students.
So we're talking about the great things that can be an application. What about for a student, what are some common mistakes that you think students make in their application process?
I think the biggest mistake is sometimes students take it lightly. I think they think, hey, this is like a job application or just something I got to do because mom and dad is telling me to do it. I can definitely read an application and tell when a student's not passionate about this application. I can tell when it's like a check-off list or I can tell if you have applied to various schools and you just sent me the same application that you sent to UT Austin, TCU. I can read it because we ask questions in our applications specifically about SMU. And sometimes students do not say anything specifically about SMU. They was talking college in a general sense. And And it's like, you probably sent that to every school you applied to. So that definitely, but I think they take it lightly. The essays is another big part. I think they just like, let me just answer the question. But if you take some time and actually paint the picture in the essay, I think helps me a lot, because we get your transcript, we get your letters of recommendation, we get to see these things. Your essay is your chance to let me know who you are outside of your grades, outside of whatever your interest is or whatever you're passionate about, that can shine through the essay. Also in the essay, let's say hypothetically you did have something bad happen in your school. Let's say your first year of high school went really, really bad. You can write about that. What happened? Some students have lost family members, have moved, family lost jobs. Things happen in the student's life, but students do not let us know. So if I see a bad grade as a ninth grade, I would just assume you got bad grades. But if you let me know, ninth grade, I had a family member did X, Y, and Z. My parents lost a job. We moved from Chicago to New York, and we've been doing it. And I was like, it makes sense you don't have the best grades. So give me that context as well.
So there's so many amazing universities out there. Great universities in Texas.
Correct.
What separates SMU?
I love that question. Not even just Texas. I would say what separates SMU nationwide. I think SMU has a very unique opportunity in campus. And I say that because the city of Dallas, second to none, I'm a Dallas native. So I might say that may be completely biased, but I think this city is amazing and the best city ever. But a school like SMU in a city like Dallas, which is a top 3 city in terms of Fortune 500, and if you're into economics, you see the landscape, everything is progressing, Texas Stock Exchange. So much happening in terms of like business opportunities. And the cool thing about SMU, our students are not competing with any other national university in terms of those job opportunities. Now there is TCU down the road, but in terms of the city of Dallas, SMU pretty much has it kind of on lock. So that's a very unique opportunity. And these students, the way the campus operates, it's kind of student driven. Like we do have faculty and staff, obviously we work there, but the students kind of tell us what to do. Like this is what we're doing, this is what we want. Also now, you mentioned the football team, now we have the best athletics. In years past, it was sometimes hard for SMU to compete in the city of Dallas, right? Our biggest game was probably against Tulane, East Carolina. Nothing wrong with those universities, but those was our like highest level of competition. But now we get to play the Dukes, the North Carolina. Last year, Florida State came. This year, the University of Miami come for homecoming.
Big game.
Cooper Flag played in our arena. So those type of things. So now our students not only get the best student body, we have some of the best athletics that can compete with the Mavs games, the Cowboys. Now they actually want to come to our games. Also the opportunity in terms of job opportunities in a city like Dallas. Our alumni come second to none. And we're a national university. So our alumni does not just necessarily stay in Dallas. They go back home sometimes. So we have great alumni in New York, California, Florida. So we all across the nation. And I don't really know many schools that can give you pretty much the best of all worlds. Sometimes you gotta like lose out on something like, hey, we get all this, but the campus is not beautiful. We have a beautiful campus. We have all this, but not a good sport. And so we have pretty much anything. Then we have the highest academic. We are R1 institution. So we got the best research, the best sports, the best city, the best food. It's just the best place to be, I think.
Doing a nice job selling it. Well done, sir.
I get paid to do that.
So Dante, let's talk a little bit about, you obviously got a huge passion for first generation, underserved students coming to SMU.
Correct.
Like that is a big passion of yours. So how do you help support that?
It's not alone. It is definitely a culmination of a multitude of groups. I'm in my role. I cannot do my role without partnership. So obviously, I have the passion from my lens, and I view it from what I lacked. So when I approach a program, and I'm thinking of like, all right, I remember going to field trips, and it used to feel like they brought me on campus, they showed me campus, maybe did a presentation, fed me, sent me back home.
Sure.
And the best part about that as a student was I got to miss school that day. It was like a field trip, right?
Yeah.
But now I try to really, really think and try to bring that equity and let you know that this is tangible, but not only is it tangible, this is what you need to do. So I'm giving you workshops. And what I do, and I take really, really pride in this, I do not try to simplify it. It's very advanced. The college admission process is very advanced. So I think I am doing you a disservice. I'm trying to show you a simple way to do this. I'm gonna show you what it is, and hopefully you write down questions, or at least you get these terms, and when you go back to home or you go back to your campus, you have these questions like, this guy said this, I need this. I have no clue what financial aid is. How do I do it FAFSA? How do I do a CSS profile? What is early decision? What is early action? What is a merit-based scholarship? So I'm giving you the correct term so you can go back and then analyze it. Now, if you are self-starting, you can do it yourself perfectly fine, but at least I gave you that avenue, at least open that door. So that's my goal.
What I love is hearing this. There's gonna be a lot of educators who hear this that support, underrepresented students, and they're now gonna be able to empower the students that they serve and say, hey, there's this great guy named Dante at SMU who would love to help and support you. I'm sure there's other amazing folks at colleges that can support a student who has a passion and wants to go that direction of college, but doesn't know, like you said, how to fill out the financial aid. And I think a lot of times students don't realize that it's an email or a phone call away to get your questions answered, who people genuinely care and want to help you get there.
And that goes back to that prior question, that mistakes students make. A lot of times students do not go the extra mile to just go seek out that answer. It's just, they will think like, I don't know how to do this, I give up. If you just now we have so much AI, so much technology out there where you can kind of ask a question. But I do love, so that's the difference between, I could say, like students. Now, the very unique about my job, I had the duality where I can go recruit some of the students from the best neighborhoods in America, right? I go to St. Louis and I get to go to some of the best schools I've ever seen in my life. And I'd be surprised I get to go. But then I get to go to a Samuel High School or Sauk or Kimball. I get to see both sides. So at that point, when I go speak to the students from St. Louis and they're very nice and have the college advising, and I talk to them and listen, I like to see what they ask me. And then I go talk to my DISD students and I just like to see that gap. And then I can then create programs to try to bridge that gap. And then, like I said, I say try. I think I do well, but I'm just keep saying try because this is a bigger problem than I can fix, but long as I can maybe make a roadmap, have a program where we can collab on a national scale, I would love it. But
you're an admissions counselor, but you're also an educator.
Yeah, I'm
just trying to educate
and
get that out.
And I am a admission counselor, but sometimes I don't view my work that way. I just like that is the job that pays the bill. But while I'm here, I try to figure out what can I do to at least affect the next generation positively. If I can do something, if I can just get 10 students to go to college that was not thinking of it, I think my job has been done.
So going back to high school educators, what do you wish more high school educators understood about how selective admission decisions are made?
I wish they didn't think it was because this student was bad or the student wasn't good enough or you admitted this student, why this student get in. It's not always a singular like yes or no. It's not a bubble like I'm checking. It's a lot of things go into making a decision for shaping the class. And a lot of this is above my pay grade. I'm going to definitely stay there because my dean and my leadership definitely make those decisions. I just kind of recommend. But I know just from conversations from them, it's a lot and I've done case studies, right? I went to some schools and this is not SMU. I'm just talking about college in a general sense. Some universities have certain goals they want to make when they make a class. Example, let's say hypothetically you have a engineering school that is not doing well. This next cycle, you want to focus on students that want to do engineering. So although you may have a student that is phenomenal, that is interested in business or the arts or humanities, whatever you're interested in, you're just not interested in engineering, and we're trying to fill this gap. So sometimes you may miss out on opportunity, but it's not because of the student wasn't good. So I like to have, when I do case studies, I let the counselors and the students know it's not always about you as the individual. And I wish parents knew that as well, because every parent thinks their student is the best thing in the world. And I was like, I understand that. You love your child, but it's not really...
So there's factors completely out of their control.
And I always tell students when you're applying, and I think another big mistake is students always focus on one or two schools and like, this is where I'm going. Open up the avenue. Go outside of your state. Go not out of the country, because that's kind of crazy, but I wouldn't do that. But some people would. I wouldn't. I can't imagine leaving high school and just going out of the country. But some students can do that. But go out of state. Go try apply a lot of various universities, because then sometimes you may receive a great scholarship, but it may be in Tennessee, and you just did not consider Tennessee as a place you wanted to go. And now there has a lot of opportunity for you. So do not just focus on 2 schools, apply to a lot of schools.
Yeah, I think that's great advice.
So that's what I recommend. A student sometime, and there's a lot of websites you can kind of fill it out, let them know what you're interested in, and let you know what schools kind of fit your parameters, and you can definitely go from there. But I definitely wish students apply to more universities and show demonstrated interest. So just do not apply. Call them, email, let them know.
Commit to a process.
Yeah, let me know that you're serious, because when I'm reading the application, and if I've been talking, and Megan have sent me 10 emails, and she came to school, brought mom and dad, and now I know all of these great people.
Yeah.
When I read Megan's application, it's just not going to be a regular Megan to me. It's like, I know this person. And I'm going back to emails that we have sent. I'm reading, catching up. If you had sent me highlights, hey, I won first place in this and this. Now I have all of this context.
Yeah.
But if a student just applied, don't ever email, don't ever call, I never see you, you're just a name on the page at that point. And I'm still going to try my best to evaluate it in the way I would all students, but it's something about the student that kind of makes sure you know them that kind of stands out. Good
stuff. So teachers, high school teachers, have the duty of writing many, many recommendation letters for students. Advice you've got for educators who are asked to write recommendation letters for students?
What I recommend, and I do understand that it is a hurdle. It is a hurdle. I recommend having a template.
Okay.
And then just base it off each student. And students, I recommend that you ask people that actually know you.
Sure.
Because I say that because I have seen counselors say, hey, I do not recommend this student.
Wow. Okay.
Because the student just, hey, can you write this for me? But you're not reading it. You just letting them submit it. Go to someone you know really like you. That's the one. But someone that you really have a respect for you. And you're like, this person want me to succeed in this world. But for counselor, I think a template is like a good way to go. And then you just fill in the blanks. And I say that because, unfortunately, when I read applications, sometimes students submit no recommendation letter. And that goes against the student. But even as a counselor, if you just send a generic recommendation letter, the student get the credit for having a recommendation letter. Now, if you want to enhance it, you want to have a really good recommendation letter, the student get more credit, but having something is better than nothing. So at least have a template. Even if a student you really do not know that well, you can say, yeah, Philip, all right, you play sports, you just fill these things in, but now you have a template. So when I receive it, I want to know it's the template. First thing I check for is make sure they have it, and then I go in there. Now, if I'm reading one school and I can see the same counselor, I like that. If a counselor, I like, oh, you have to write 50 of these, it makes sense you have a template. But then you see some students that have various recommendation letters.
So do you recommend that educators also maybe fill out, maybe have the student who they're writing a recommendation to, a questionnaire. So that's a good thing to maybe have a standardized, hey, I'm going to write this recommendation letter, but I need some help. Can you fill in this?
Exactly. This is what I would do as a counselor. I would like, hey, here's the questionnaire, fill that out. That way I can put that in a template, send it off. Yeah. That's kind of how I will approach it as a counselor. Now, if you have a student that you just like, I know this student, I love this student, they don't need a template. You can but I can definitely tell when a counselor's writing about a student that they really don't know, because it kind of reads off like that. So if you have a questionnaire, just fill it in with a little bit of things, and I think that will definitely enhance his application or her application.
Got it. So take away grades, take away scores, educators recommending students for SMU. What are they looking for to help you out to get the best students possible at SMU? What should they look for in students?
What should the counselor look for?
What for like an educator or teacher should look for?
I think for SMU, I think you should look for someone that has that passion to be better than they are today. So if you see a student like, hey, if they always talking in the future, I want to do this, I want to do that. That is a student that I love to hear, because we have champions that our students are world changers. So we want someone to think not now, but what could you do in the future? So if you have somebody thinking in the future, they're definitely SMU type students, or someone that just really, really love business. That's a great place to be. I think SMU has one of the best business schools in the nation. And not based off stats, but just me seeing how they work with those students. Also think of students that are curious about academics. I think that is a very, very good sign. Students that are saying, hey, I want to know more. I don't know what I want to know today, but I know it's something else out there. Those are the type of students we like. We like the student that you can mold, you can clay. But obviously we get students that are like, hey, my dad has been an accountant for the last 10 years. I'm going to be an accountant and I'm going to graduate. Then they become accountants. I'm going to go to the family business. So that happens. But I love the students that are like, hey, there's a lot of opportunities for me out there, and I just want to go seize it. Those are the students that I love.
So what can high schools in general do, you think, to better prepare students for SMU or any college for that matter, both academically and socially?
I think exposure. I know COVID actually hindered this process. I feel like now we're revving up. I can definitely feel, I see more high schools coming, but there was a time where the students wasn't getting exposed to college. And I think they have to find new ways to expose them to college. And that's not just on high schools. Maybe that's the colleges itself. The standard, just bring them here, presentation, walk around the school, send them back to school, or send them back to high school. I think that is just, it works for some. But some students need to actually see themselves, see if there's a possibility. And I'll go into like my DISD or just any independent school district. I feel like these students need a little bit more, and they need it earlier. Oftentimes, I think a big mistake, especially for my ISDs, is they wait until students are like the junior, senior year to start trying to do college visits, trips, application type things. I think for those students should be doing it like 8th grade. Just need to see it, get hands-on experience, because oftentimes if they wait till the junior or senior year, it may be too late in terms of like GPA, how you build that application. But if you let them know from freshman year, like, hey, these are the GPAs you need, test scores, and you start building that, like, those words, vocabulary, by the time they are a junior, they're excited about it. Now, we do have some phenomenal programs in like DISD or any independent school district, but those are the P-Tech, all of those advanced levels. But I like to think of the grand scheme. I like to think of the whole, everyone. What is everyone doing once they graduate? And I think you just got to expose students to things a little bit earlier.
You probably had some fantastic teachers growing up.
Amazing.
Do you talk to me about ones that did a great job of kind of helping you do an incredible job as a trail? I mean, you're a trailblazer, obviously.
Thank you.
And I love that. So what helped you be a trailblazer?
So I'll give some shout outs. I have a teacher, LaToya Sloan McGraw, Shantae Spencer.
I love that you're naming them. That's great.
Sandra Winkley, right. I have a few teachers that affected me personally.
Okay.
Those are some of my favorite people. And I say that because at a time, and these were like high school teachers, pretty much all high school. That's when I started coming to myself, like, So that was that time where I needed some guidance. Like I said, first gen, and no one ever told me, like, you hear things like you're smart or you're, but you feel like people have to tell you that. And then what I realized when I got older, they didn't have to tell me that. I thought those teachers were telling all the kids that you're smart. I didn't know that until I got a little older, but those three that I named definitely had a very, very, like, important part of my early development in high school. That's when you can get a little distracted. You had, you come into your manhood, the girls are distractions, football team is a distraction. Like, it's a lot of distractions in high school, especially I went to Samuel High School. So just that area in a sense is a very, very much distraction. But those three teachers definitely gave me the guidance, made me believe in myself. And then when I wasn't doing well, they would let me know, like, hey, I will go call your mom. And I was like, okay, let me get back.
So some tough talk there too.
Yeah, so they would not let me do anything less than they thought I could do. They're like, you can do better. And I always felt like they was saying that to all students, but I got older, I realized, like, oh, maybe they was giving me some extra love that I didn't think I was getting. But they definitely, and I talk to them, they and we Facebook friends, so I get to see their lives, and they are very, very close with my mom till to this day. Now, Sandra Weekly, right, she's no longer with us. That's the AVID teacher I was talking about. But Shantae Spencer does a lot of the type of work I do. She tries to do the programming, she does the things with the students. And LaToya Sloan McGraw is still I think, high school counselor right now. So they still are doing the work, and I just love that for them, but they definitely played a big part in who I am today.
So different perspective, you kind of indirectly work with educators who are helping students get into SMU. Can you think of a story where you interacted with an educator, or maybe even got to know an educator who was doing something extraordinary to help a student get to SMU?
See, extraordinary is kind of hard because all you have to do is not the bare minimum, just show us some attention. I'm a mission counselor. Call me, and I would love to be on the phone with you because I have to be there for 8 hours. So call me, let's talk. But I have seen some counselors that will call up multiple times or send additional information, or do these private, hey, I have a student interested in SMU and I think you will love them. Just get me excited about the student, because sometimes students do not do the demonstrated interest like we talked about, but sometimes the counselor will do it for them. Like, this student has been raving about SMU, they really want to go there, they're shy. They give me all these things, and when I meet the student or talk to the student, and sometimes I've had a conversation with a counselor and she raved about a student to the point where I emailed the student, hey, I talked to your counselor, call me tomorrow, set up an appointment. I'd just love to meet you. So sometimes the counselor can definitely give me that first initial, and then I can you know what, since the student is shy, let me beat the student to it. Hey, I talked to your counselor. There's a link in my signature. Just set up a time. I would love to speak to you one-on-one. And now the student don't have to reach out, because so the counselor can definitely sometimes shield students as well. Because we talk about the applications and let them know, hey, this student, or the year before, this student could enhance. Let's say hypothetically we have a student that should have been test optional. The counselor call, I say, hey, this student could probably be benefit if they email and say remove test scores. Then the counselor so counselors definitely do like God's work. They do work that maybe won't get paid extra for. You staying up late nights, and then parents probably be yelling at those counselors like, why is my son not in Yale or not at SMU? And they're like, we're trying our best. It's just sometimes, so I got so much. So that event I'm doing tomorrow with 150 counselors, I love college counseling because I know how hard it is. That's where I started. My first 6 years was college counseling or college advising. So I know the hardship efforts, and the efforts and the parents that's yelling at you, and it's like, it's your fault that the student is like, I love counselors so much.
Awesome. So what are some fantastic SMU initiatives that you wish, high schools knew more about?
I wish they knew about the Access SMU scholarship program. That is for Pell-Eligible students. If you receive a merit-based scholarship, so all you have to do is apply to the university. You receive a merit-based scholarship and you are Pell-Eligible, then you qualify for Access, which then cover all of so if your parents is only required to spend, say FAFSA, say your parents only have $3,000 that they can spend for college. You are responsible for the $3,000, but SMU will take care of the rest. And I love that, and I don't think a lot of people know about that program. Also, we have Mustang Scholars. For those Pell-Eligible students that come to SMU, you will be in this cohort of students from backgrounds like yourself, students that are first generation Pell-Eligible. So you get to meet those students, have that sense of belonging. We have so many great programs for those students that come here. And I know that is a big part, and I talk to counselors, teachers, and students about that as well, that sometimes they're like, my student will not fit in at SMU. Or they heard a story about SMU 50 years ago, 60 years ago, something like that. And I let them know, like, that is not SMU today. SMU is very open and welcoming to all students from pretty much any walks of life. But for the students I definitely recruit, I let them know that, hey, you have a place here. If you have the academics, you're smart enough. And they look at the price tag. They're like, hey, we can't afford that. And I'm like, do not look at the price tag until after you receive your decision. Once you receive your decision, then at that time, you will know if you receive a scholarship. But if you're Pell-Eligible and you receive a scholarship.
Talk to me about Pell-Eligible.
Pell-Eligible is for students who mom and dad does not make a lot of money. So there is a certain number, I'm not going to put it here because I don't know it, like I'm not in financial aid, but there is a certain number that prohibits students from being Pell-Eligible. So if mom and dad make a certain amount, you're no longer Pell-Eligible. But if they do not make a lot of money, you are Pell-Eligible, and you have so many opportunities at your fingertips with that. Just apply, do your financial aid, and then just let's see what I can do. And if I have students that, hey, I have received a merit-based scholarship, I'm Pell-Eligible, email me, and then we just go into Access and we start that process.
Nice.
It's a great process. I mean, great program.
You talked a little bit about your outreach, working with high school counselors. What other outreach are you doing?
I do a lot, and I love it. And I think and what I love the most in my leadership, let me just kind of curate. They just like, hey, you having fun with this, you do it. But so last year we had an AVID day. I talked about, we brought the 200 students. Tomorrow, EIF, Education is Freedom. You probably should work with that group as well. Education is Freedom is amazing. They will bring in 150 college advisors. I do work with AVID Texas, AVID. I have high schools. I work with KIPP High School. I work with some of the Uplift Idea high schools. And we just do these programs. Last 2 weeks ago, I had a week-long camp with the Young Women's Preparatory Network here in Dallas, Texas. And they have schools in various locations around Texas. They have Houston, Fort Worth, Dallas, Austin, Mesquite. They have a few different locations in the state of Texas. We brought around, I think, 30 young ladies. They stayed at SMU for a week. We had program. We had college essay workshops. We had someone do some SAT prep. We had someone do different type of things. They got to go to the museum after school. So we, like I said, that exposure, I think, and they were juniors. So now they were like, hey, I told them when they got there, this may be advanced. But when you leave, a lot of this will make sense, and what doesn't make sense, now you know what questions to ask. So a lot of different, and I'm trying to grow the companies I work with. I typically tell people, if you can get the students to SMU, I can definitely have a program, and we can definitely facilitate some type of learning and experience, or something the students would definitely take back home with them.
How do you see college admissions 5-10 years in the future?
Oh, how do I say? I like that you asked me. So this is not an SMU.
I got
answer.
access to you, Dante.
This is not an SMU answer. This is a Dante Branch answer.
Excellent.
But what I would hope to see is more test optional. I love that. I love that. Also, more pathways for the uncommon student, and those can be Pell-Eligible first-gen students that from overseas. Just a lot of different type of students that do not have the support that all students have. I think those students cannot always just be looked over. But the future of college, I think it will be similar. It will still be similar. The price will go up at all schools. I think that's a common. Hopefully there are more scholarships. Hopefully there are more opportunities. Hopefully there are more doors that can be open in the next 5 to 10 years. But I think it just takes someone wanting those things to happen. But transparently, I do not foresee test optional lasting much longer just because the nation, the best schools in America are shifting back to. But the good thing is the ACT and SAT is supposed to be simpler. I know you may know more about this.
Yeah, we can talk a lot about that.
ACT, I think the ACT went from 5 answer choices to 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Math they did,
Yeah. So if you are going to require the test, longer the tests are more.
The tests are growing with society, students. I mean, shorter, like the SAT test is much, much shorter. The ACT test is shorter. The SAT is adaptive now. So they're doing things to make the test, kind of grow a little bit, which is what everybody's trying to do. We're all trying to adapt and grow and give kids more opportunities.
And I love it. So, and I look, you have a niche market, and I swear if we work together, I can get you where you want to. I know those students that need that opportunity, but yes, hopefully in the next 5 years, I just hope that it keeps growing. I hope that I'm not gonna get into like the politics. I don't know. I don't want to do that. But the way that America's going, I hope it just keep evolving one day to like everyone needs an opportunity.
Yeah.
And if you have now grades and GPA, if you have the merit, I think you should have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But is that going to happen? Probably not in the next 5 to 10 years, but that's a Dante wish list. I hope that the schools are more open to all students.
You say it's a wish list, but you're working for that to happen.
I don't have that position at a school that
Not yet.
I like that. That's what we're working towards. But hopefully the things I do, and I am very active on LinkedIn, and I've connect to all of our leadership. So hopefully they can see it like, hey, we need to do more of this. But hopefully the nationwide, I just hope that students are, because now society is switching to you don't need college. You can get on ChatGPT and do all these things. I am a firm believer, and this is not Dante, the admission counselor. I would have said this before SMU. I think students, especially students from my background, needs college. Yep. And people always say, you're going to go in debt. I can give you a list of reasons why it won't work for you or it shouldn't work. But the main reason I think students should go to college, especially from neighborhoods like myself, is that exposure. You get to get out of your neighborhood.
Yes.
That may be the only chance the student from Pleasant Grove, that's where I'm from, can get out of Pleasant Grove.
Yes.
Now you get to be among students that are from all locations. You get to have friends from New York or better environments. You get to meet people. It's just, although you may be in debt, you may get some debt, but now you get another life experience, and hopefully what you learn in college, you can help navigate you through that. And then if you have another, like a child or next generation, hopefully they won't have to deal with what you have to deal with. So someone has to take that bullet first. Someone has to be the first one to walk through that door, first one to go through things. And that was me. Like I said, the power was the first. And yes, I have a lot of student debt. I have a debt. I have to have it because I have to go from point A to point B. Yeah. But hopefully my child would not have to go through those same doors and may have scholarships and things like that. So that is my goal. So a lot of people say students do not need college. All do not need college, but I think college is a great avenue for students to go from wherever they are from and give them opportunity. And that may come with debt. And that's no different from buying a car. You don't want to walk, you don't want to get on the bus every day, so you may have to get some debt. So sometimes debt, it's a bad word. I get that. You don't want debt, but sometimes you need these experiences to get out of your current circumstance.
Yeah. It's an investment you pay back.
You have to. Hopefully now, that goes to another conversation for students. The major you select sometimes is indicative on what you know about college. I learned a lot of first generation. They will go to a university, come and get a lot of debt, $60,000, $70,000 in debt to become a teacher. Not saying we talk about educators.
Oh yeah,
we talk about educators all the time on here, but I love my educators, but that is not the best way to go in debt. Sure. There's so many programs. You can get teacher certifications. You can go a lot of ways around it. if you go to college, get a major that can make you some money. So if you do have debt, you can pay that off. So those things I am trying to teach.
Yeah.
I just need a bigger platform and need people to assist with me. And I don't have all the answers, but that's why I like to partner with groups that do have those type of answers.
Well, when you do your TED Talk, that's going to get you a huge following.
Let's do it.
I have a feeling.
I think after this, it might get a huge following,
I
right?
hope so.
Let's do it.
So some huge takeaways, and then I know Megan's got some questions. She's always got great questions. My biggest takeaway from our conversation, I've been in education for a long time, but the idea of this wonderful human being on the other end of the line or the other end of an email who cares about me as a student, not just a piece of paper, who is willing to walk me through the process. There are people like you that I think it's awesome, and people need to know that.
That is great. And back to what you said about things that they don't know about the admission counselors, we are regular people.
Sure.
And most people, from my understanding, working in admission has some type of trouble with admission process, and they want to make it easier for the next generation. So everyone I work with in my office, for the most part, not those young folks, they are just having the time of their life. But the people that are like seasoned veterans in this profession, they really, really want to help. I'm a part of a coalition that actually focuses on access. So it's a lot of great professionals in this field, from the Yales, from all of the top end schools you can think of, really, really passionate about helping students. It's scary. I know you're thinking that we're like a bill collector when you call us. We're not those type of people. We are normal people. We have wives, children. We are very passionate, and we want to help students. Sure. And for my office, I can say that because I work with them, we are definitely willing to help students that want to help themselves. Yeah. Now, on the flip side, we have people that feel like they are entitled just because who they are. Like, no, you're going to give me this admission. It's like, you don't have the grades. Yeah. So, but it flips. If you're willing to help yourself, I'm willing to help you. But I know that because I've learned from better people in my office, and they have the same sentiments. They definitely want to help. So SMU is a great office, especially for those that want to help themselves. We'll try to do our best. Now, awesome. SMU is only this big. So we can't do it for all students, but we definitely try our best to help those that actually are seeking out that help.
Absolutely. All right, Megan, what you got?
Well, I got to say, first of all, just wow. I had no idea that there were college admission counselors that actually looked at applications and reviewed them, and you have relationships with students. I had no idea.
We do.
And you care so much. I love that. And I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to narrow them down because I want to know how this works. Like, do you have the whole country, or do you have specific school districts?
That's good.
I had all those questions for you, but that's for another time because you're going to
I
come back.
can answer that real quick.
Okay. But we'd love to have you come back, too.
Oh, I'm coming back. I like that. I'm coming back. I'll answer that next time. But I can. You want me to? I can dip. Territories, I have a lot of Dallas County. So all the ISDs pretty much belong to me. Some of the private schools in Dallas, I have those as well. I have Austin, Texas, Waco. So I kind of drive through Waco. Some schools go to Austin, come back. Also, I have Kansas City and St. Louis, Missouri. Those are my territories as well. So that is mine. But I don't do it because I'm community outreach. I am more local based, but we have people in the office. I'll give one of our younger counselors, she's so excited to travel. But she has like DC, Virginia, New York, Staten Island, she said today. A few. So we go all over the nation, especially at SMU. So every major hub, SMU is there in some type of capacity, but we got California, Florida, New York reps. We have regionals that are in California. We have some in Florida. So we are all across the nation recruiting these students.
And it seems like you have a database that tells you like what the schools require as far as AP is concerned, like what classes they have. Is that true? Like, because you seem to know a lot about like the individual schools and the students that came before.
Great question. So yes, we do have a database. We have a college board, I guess like
dashboard,
let's say it that way. But on your application, we require students from their counselor to send their school information.
Got it.
So on your application, it's all in there.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Now, if the student did not submit it, we can just go to the website. It's posted somewhere. Yeah. Typically, when I review applications, I like to do it by schools. So if I review one student, like I'm trying to review all students with the same type of curriculum. That way, I'm not going from New York to California. Yeah. So all my students, I would do Samuel High School, Skyline, and then I would do school. So that's how I do it. But I know some people in the office just go random. So I like to do them in like the school location. But yes, that information is attached to the actual application.
And about how long does it take to review each application? Sounds like it takes a long time. And
it can. So that varies, right? I try to spend at least 15 minutes. That's a good... Now, some students, it's easy, right? Some students 4.0, high GPA, that may take 4 minutes, all right? Because I'm not in the business school where they have to actually look at it and have competitive applications. They have to say no to 4.0 students. I don't have that hardship. So if you are a student with high GPA, some of those are easier to read, but the ones that take a little longer for me is those middle of the pack. Because those students sometimes need a little extra. If I can say, but middle of the pack, you show demonstrated interest, I met you, it's easier to, but those are the ones that take around 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes. And we have a committee, so it's not always me. It's not me. So I can make a decision or a recommendation. Then we go to another level, people with some associate deans, some directors, maybe the dean. And then we have a group discussion on if I was really, really passionate and say, no, I really want Philip. He's been great. I really want him. I met him.
I appreciate that.
He's doing all these great things. I want him here. And they see that passion for me, my leadership, they're like, all right, let's do it. Now, if I say we have this committee, like, what you know about this student? I'm like, I don't really know much about him. They're like, all right, would you be mad if we say no? And I'm like, I really wouldn't be mad. So those things happen. So that's why I say that demonstrated interest definitely goes, and students are not doing it as much as I would love them to do it. But some students that have 4.0s, like, I don't have to. You guys will want me, right?
Yeah.
But those middle of the pack, if you know you're a student that does not have the most high academics, you need to be showing a lot of demonstrated interest.
Gotcha.
You need to be putting your face in front of those folks, emailing and doing things like that.
And who knew you could do that? I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can. Daily visits come up and we can talk to you.
It's a great tip, everybody. Okay, for my last question, as a first-generation college student, as a part of your TED Talk, which we have named The First Branch.
I like that. I like that.
What is your advice for other first-generation students that are applying for college?
Great question. My advice would be that it's doable. I think that's the most important part. A lot of students will psych themselves out if they say, I've heard, and this is so bad. It's so bad because I work a lot of first gen, but when I put out my SMU banners, we do the college fair, I'll hear other students talk bad to the other students. Like, don't talk to SMU, you're not getting in there. Like, so you hear this doubt, right? And then you talk to someone like myself, and I want you to talk to me, but now you just have to listen to your friends, and now you want to come talk to my table because you feel as if SMU is prestigious, high academics, and you don't feel high on yourself. So I let students like, come talk to me, and then there are transfer pathways. That's another thing I would let students know. That although you may not did well your first 2 years, you had various circumstances, go to community college, transfer. Do really well your first 2 years. They have amazing transfer scholarships that can be full ride scholarships. It does not stop after your senior year. I think that's a big message that I am trying to convey to students that are like, hey, I don't have that GPA. Perfectly fine. You have a GPA. Really don't matter. As long as you graduate high school, you can get into a community college, automatically accepted, do really well your first 2 years, and then transfer. You have a lot of opportunities after that. So it does not necessarily stop at your first year. And that goes for seasoned professionals. Even if you're a parent that did not go to college, like, I want to get back into it, go to community college, do a good 2 years, get your GPA as high as it can, 4.0, even if you have to retake courses. I tell students, they're like, I didn't do good here, but I graduated. Go retake those courses. Get your GPA as high as possible, and then transfer. Those opportunities as well. But it is doable. There's a lot of pathways. And going back to his conversation or our previous question, call the schools. If you want to go to a school, call them. Email them. Hey, this is who I am. Wow. This is what I have. This is what I know. Someone can help you. No one is going to say, oh, you don't know anything? Hang up in your face. This is not that type of profession. Let us know what you're lacking. Let us know your shortcomings. Let me know, hey, I need to work on these things. Even if I am not the person that can help you, I can send you over to transfer. Or like, just come in, let's come talk to me in person. Let's just figure these things out. So to whoever the first generation student is, it is definitely doable. It may require a lot of work. And you will be the first one doing it. So a lot of things you would not know. Because you do not know something don't mean you're inadequate, doesn't mean you're dumb, doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means you just don't know, right? So you just have to figure out those things. And trust me, for someone that was once in your shoes, it is doable. I did not know. To this day, I really feel like I don't know what I be doing. But I'm having fun with it, and I think that's the passion. Your passion drives you. But yes, it's definitely doable.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dante, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
Was that an hour? Did we hit the hour?
I don't know, but it was a fantastic conversation. This is the first podcast I've done where I really want students to hear it.
Okay.
Like hopefully educators listening to this right now and going, I need to play this for my students. I think students would get a lot out of this.
I hope so. And if anyone wants me to come talk to students, that's what I do on a day-to-day. So I'm definitely here for that. But I'm glad. Thanks for having me. Because in the beginning, I will tell the listeners, Megan emailed me a few times. I thought this was spam. I was like, nobody wants to talk to me. I haven't done anything. But then
she's persistent, that Megan.
And I was like, all right, let me just at least respond. Yeah. Then we got the ball rolling. But Megan has been a rock star.
Yeah.
She need a raise.
She's pretty great.
I don't know who to tell that to, but she needs a raise.
Well, I don't pay her anything, and I'm going to keep on not paying her.
That's how you do it, right?
That's how I do it.
Give her $1. That's a raise.
You got it. You got it.
But thanks for having me. I really enjoyed this.
Awesome. Folks, if you watched today on YouTube, fantastic. Please shoot us a comment. Maybe suggest another fantastic guest like Dante. I'd love to have that guest on. If you are listening either on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, thanks for listening. If you absolutely love what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating. We'd really appreciate that. I want to thank my fantastic production team, Megan included, and all of my wonderful production team. They're awesome. And hey, keep on doing hard things, keep on pushing, and be the best educator you can. And that's all I've got. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
The opinions expressed by our guests and hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views from Classroom to Campus, UWorld, or its affiliates. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star rating that really helps us out. Thank you so much.